I don't like my current toolbox setup in my truck. This is the current toolbox I have in my 2000 Ford F250. And if you notice, there's an awful lot of space down there at the bottom. The toolbox is really shallow and it's not very wide. And what that leads to is me storing things like this junkyard toolbox, boots, coveralls, and various things like that inside the truck instead of storing them in the toolbox where I want to store them. So here's what I've done to resolve that. So I'm perusing through the Facebook marketplace, and as usual, I find all kinds of just wonderful treasures, you know, things that I can't possibly live without. Check this out. Weatherguard toolbox to fit a full-size truck, no keys. Another TSC, just, you know, general side box, fits nothing I have. And a full-on tailgate to fit an F-150, exactly like the tailgate on this F-250. So what I'm gonna do, I wanna take this toolbox, we're gonna scuff it up with a quick sander, we're gonna throw down some of that rattle can rhino liner on it, just on the outside. We're gonna give it just a quick budget makeover, and we're gonna move in. Take all the stuff, arrange it in here. I carry a lot of different stuff in the truck because it's kind of like a rolling toolbox. It's what I take on all my adventures. So show you guys what I have in there, and then maybe get some ideas from you on maybe things that you would keep in there. Well, the name of the game here is going to be scuff and basically knock off the sheen, knock off all the trash. We'll wipe it down with some acetone, some wax and grease remover. We'll tape up all the stuff that needs to be taped, and we'll shoot it. So right now, about 45 minutes worth of this. Well, we've got the sheen knocked off of it, 220 grit paper. I've wiped it down with acetone and then wax and grease remover. So pretty sure that it'll be okay as far as taking the coat. Next thing we're gonna do is jump on it with some tape, tape up all the hardware. I considered pulling these off because the right way to do it would be take these things off and paint behind them, but they're riveted on from the back side, and I'll destroy them trying to get them off of there. So I'm just gonna leave them alone. Cool part is there's a lot of room behind them, so I can actually take the tape and slide it behind there. So that's what we're gonna do. Anyway, let's tape it up. Okay, well, I'm going to start back here on the back side, since this is the part that is not seen very much. I'm going to skip this area down here because it is protected by, or it's up against the back of the truck. If I have enough of this when I'm finished, I'll go ahead and put a coat on that and on these sides. But if I run out, then I'll probably just take semi-flat black paint and hit that, since it's kind of out of sight and out of mind anyway. That's how we're going to roll with this. see how bad we can screw it up by taking this tape off. I kind of want to get this off before it dries because this stuff is so thick that I'm afraid there won't be any getting it off when it dries. Now it's time to put the toolbox in the back of the truck. I'm going to keep my rubber gloves on because it's still wet. When do you load your toolboxes on the truck? When they're dry? No. Well, I figure the best thing to do is close it and just kind of maybe set this end up there and push it in, and then maybe set it up on top. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Big thing is I can't close it. Oh wait, top's pretty dry. Hey, that works. Okay. This is where we drop it on the ground, isn't it? It won't fall. Okay, so how do we do this without scratching it up? That's the question. We could always just wait longer. Easy, 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 easy. Why does this seem to be a two-person job? Okay. Let's go way up there. Hey, we got it. Ooh, and it's trying to make us not have it. We're gonna window it. Like that. So check it out. Came out pretty good. And yes, I left the inside white, and there's a reason for that. Toolboxes that are black on the inside are extremely hard to see in, especially at night. It's like the black color just absorbs all the light, and it's hard to see in. So I thought about going ahead and rattle canning the inside of that thing black, but thought better of it. Just from a perspective of being able to see down in the thing, you know, at night. And who knows, I may actually end up going and putting an LED strip in there because it has grommets in the side of it to run, you know, electrical. So I may end up doing that in a future video. I don't know. Okay, anyway, we've got the thing in. It's kind of buttoned down. My old toolbox is sitting right there. It's full of stuff. There's junk in the back seat of this truck. Let's go ahead and see about transferring some of this stuff over. Let's see what's in my box, and let's see what needs to stay, what needs to go, and let you guys tell me what else I should put in there. Boy, you guys are crooked. There. Let's go over what is actually going to go in this toolbox. I guess I'll start with the biggest stuff first. No particular order on this. There's a lot of stuff that's got to go in there, and I'll kind of show you kind of as we go. This is just a wooden tote that I keep. Things like oil, antifreeze, funnel, ether, not for this truck, for tractors and all the other junk at the farm. Things like brake cleaner, transmission fluid, various chain lubes, things of that nature. I have this Craftsman 156 piece toolkit, pretty much all the sockets that you would need. See, that's awesome. It actually sits in here. The other toolbox, it wouldn't sit up like that. You had to lay it down. So that's way better. I have a fairly extensive electrical repair kit. I have some extra fuses and stuff down there also. And then on the other side, it's pretty much all kinds of various things. You know, crimp type connectors, small zip ties, lengths of wire, cotter pins, washers, just everything hardware wise, stuff that I've ran into that I've needed before. That's what's in there. This is just a little bit set, kind of a leftover thing. Believe it or not, that sucker's came in handy quite a few times. Have a multimeter with an amp clamp. Then there's this other box. This thing's full of all the other junk, you know, duct tape, rope, test light, screws, and all of the other tools, all of the wrenches and adjustable hammers, vice grips, pipe wrenches, pretty much everything that you would keep in a regular toolbox you'll find in here. And I cover pretty much most metric and most SAE in this kit here. I think I might take this electrical kit and try and put it in there and see if I can close all that up in one neat little package. Oh wait, forgot my tech screws. Another thing that comes in really handy is tech screws, because you can jam them through some pretty thick stuff with a impact drill. There we go. Other thing I'm going to have in here is going to be a tarp, because that is super handy to lay on the ground when you're working on something. I have a pair of coveralls, because sometimes when it's time to get dirty, you didn't plan for it. This military tin here is pretty much everything related to this truck. Belt, more electrical connectors, and things like fuses, wire, crimp connectors, bulbs, fuses. Also in that kit is going to be everything that is brakey on these trucks, things that are known to leave you sitting on the side of the road. You're crooked again. Things like, you know, belt tensioner, camshaft position sensor, IPR, ICP, all those things are in there extra. So if I do get stranded or broke down on the side of the road, then the things that are most common are going to be in that kit. I keep a kit, something like that, in most of my cars. In fact, I just did one on the Datsun. I can link that up here somewhere if you guys want to see that little breakdown kit. It's obviously not nearly as extensive as this kit, because this is the vehicle that I'm driving when we go, you know, like rescue something or drag something out of the tree line or work at our farm. So having all these types of tools in here comes in really, really handy. So anyway, let's move on. I keep a hatchet and a cheap Chinese entrenching tool. Yes, it's junk, but obviously you see that I have put it to some use. A good heavy set of jumper cables, and I mean a heavy set. Things that you could jump off a tractor with, because that's usually what they're doing. Good heavy chain. Also keep a pair of waterproof boots and a spare set of basic clothes. So this is going to be what's called a skivvy roll. It's going to have things like overshirt, undershirt, underwear, socks, all the things that when you get out and get wet, it's awfully nice to have them. Couple of tow ropes. These come in probably handier than about anything else in the whole toolbox. I find myself using those. Have a light and a medium duty ratchet strap. I keep those there on the side of the box because it's usually quick access kind of affair. Keep some big zip ties, and this is the ball hitch that goes right there for the turnover ball. I also keep, usually I keep about a half a case of water, but this is all that's left because I tend to drink it. Now, for the little slidey compartment here, this is mainly hygiene stuff. I keep a clean microfiber towel, fingernail brush, soap, and yes, it's well-used soap, but there's nothing like being able to wash your hands when you get somewhere or when you get done working on something. Some Gojo and some nitrile gloves. These are cheap nitrile gloves, but there are still gloves. And then all the other stuff like a clevis to go with my toe straps, various little bungee cords and whatnot. And that's pretty much all that's in here. I will say this, the other toolbox over there with this exact loadout in it, it was absolutely packed full of stuff. This one has a lot of room left over, and in fact, I see that I didn't put my spare belt up. There. So that's the loadout here. What have I missed? What are you guys carrying that I'm not carrying? Because I need to know. You know, I just need to know. Surely I've missed something here. I got a lot more room. If you got room, you need to put more junk. So let me know down in the comments what else I need to consider sticking in here, just, you know, for a vehicle with this kind of purpose. Well, before we end this video, I've got one more piece of housekeeping that needs to be done. Remember, this toolbox didn't come with any keys. Well, did a little research, and it turns out that as long as you know the original key number, you can go out to Weatherguard's website and you can put in that number and get yourself a couple of keys made. So let me show you what I had to do in order to make that happen. Now, supposedly you can use this model and serial number to find your key code or whatever. That was not my experience. In fact, there was nowhere on the website that had anything to do with a model and serial other than just registering your product, which I did. But looking around a little bit, I found out that you can actually pull this entire lock assembly out of the toolbox, and the key number is printed or stamped on the side of it. So let me show you how that works. We'll need to pull out this screw, flathead or hex driver. Here's the offending part. Now what you're going to need to do is this like little handle right here, you're going to just pry that out, right? Like so. Just pull it all the way out. Once you do that, you can grab a hold of the entire lock assembly and pull it out. Printed right there on the top of the lock is going to be your number. You can go ahead and you can put this thing back in. One other thing, this lock, it has a rubber seal around it, and I made sure not to get bed liner material on this, because this is a really rough surface and it'll probably end up being water leaks. So I chose not to do that. Well, this is our key, and if you notice, it's that nice red Weatherguard look. I like the way Weatherguard did their locks, because you push the lock in order to open the box up. But when you lock the box and you push it in, the entire plunger disconnects itself. So there's really no easy way to force this lid open. And the way they did their latches and stuff, they're really well built. This is probably the best built toolbox I've ever seen. And you know, it's a used toolbox I got off Marketplace, so I don't have any skin in the game with Weatherguard, but I've been looking for one for a long time. Just, you know, when you can get cheap, because neither of these things are, well, they're more than I'm going to pay for it for this truck. I'll put it that way. So it was cool to find this thing as a score. I think I paid $100 for it on Marketplace, and you know, you put $30 worth of spray can bed liner on there and $20 worth of keys, and you know, you got yourself a good toolbox that will last a long time, and it's watertight. That's the best part about it. I've left this truck sitting out in the rain on purpose with all my junk in there for like 3 days, and it has been torrential downpour, like crazy rains. I've driven it in the rain, and everything inside is nice and dry and tidy. So if you're looking for a toolbox, I would encourage you to hop out on your local Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever and look for a used Weatherguard box for your truck, because they're pretty good. Anyway, guys, appreciate you watching this video. Hey, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing down there. Don't forget, tell all your friends about us. Like, share, subscribe. And guys, I'll see you next time.